Molly here. Today I'm going to give you guys a tutorial on brakes and paddles, and then at the end of the video I'm going to give you guys that already know how to do brakes and paddles some tips and tricks to help you clean them up a little bit. I recommend having a couple different size hoops available whenever you're learning brakes and paddles if possible. If not, just use the one hoop that you got. Today I have a 32-inch inner diameter real heavy dance hoop that I'm going to be using when I start the tutorial. These hoops will come into play a little bit later. This is a 5/8 Poly Pro from Third Eye Colorado, and I also have a 3/4 Poly Pro from Third Eye Colorado. They make awesome hoops, and if you guys want to check them out, I will have a discount code for you guys to use in the comments of this video. Alright, so I'm going to start with the dance hoop. When I was learning brakes and paddles to begin with, I had already mastered some other tricks prior to the brakes and paddles. Escalators, little things like this. And whenever I was doing things like that, I realized that the 5/8 Poly Pro was super springy and fast, and I loved it. Super light. However, when I made the transition over to learning the brakes and the paddles, I despised my 5/8. Every time I would do a break, the hoop would fly up or fly down, and I just couldn't keep it steady in the plane that you really need the brakes and the paddles to be in. So I decided I would pick up a heavier hoop. Whenever I push, it definitely will stay in that plane a lot better. So that's why I'm going to recommend you guys bust out the heaviest hoop that you have if you're learning the brakes and paddles. If you've already kind of mastered them, at the end of this video, like I said, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks. Go ahead and bust out your lighter hoops if need be. Alright, so let's get inside the hoop. Like I was saying a few minutes ago, you want to keep the hoop in that plane. I don't really know the name of this plane, but I kind of describe it as being like right where your shoulder blade is. It's the area where your shoulder blade comes around to your chest area. So that's going to be where the hoop needs to be. Basically, like if you were shoulder hooping, you want to keep it upward. So the heavier hoop is going to allow us to kind of keep it there a little bit easier because it's not going to flop up and down whenever we do break left and right. So when you're inside the hoop and you have it in that shoulder blade plane, you'll have each hand on the hoop, left hand, right hand. I am right hand dominant, so I'm going to be braking to the left first. I'll be using my right hand to push. Some people have the misconception that when you're braking, you like grab the hoop or something like that. I've seen people completely stop when they're braking. It's more of like a pause and push kind of thing. As soon as the hoop comes around, yeah, you are stopping it, but you're immediately pushing it back to the other side. I've also found that bare skin works best. When learning these, I would try to do it in a t-shirt or like a long sleeve shirt, and the shirt, even with gaffer tape or sanding around the inside, would make the hoop kind of slippery and slide all over the place. So if you can bust out a tank top, sports bra, something like that, or bare if you want to do that, basically just bare skin, it's best for learning a lot of tricks. So, like I said, you basically just want to take the hoop and you're pushing it from side to side. And each time it comes around, you're stopping it with whatever hand, whatever side it's on. The hoop does not get a full rotation. You are not doing this and then breaking. So you want to just, every time the hoop just switches sides, that's whenever you're going to be pushing it back to the other side. I can also tell you that turning your body with it helps a little bit. Whenever I was first starting out, I would keep my chest completely straight, and I was like, man, this is kind of awkward. So you get in this rhythm, get a little flow going, and you just turn side to side. And I found that helped me quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, the general motion of this, the trick is really easy, but for some reason it does take a little while to master. I'm going to kind of slow it down for you, kind of do some slows. If you notice, I'm just going to be pushing my right hand over, stopping it with my left, pushing it back. Same thing. So we're going to push with the right. Your palms will be facing upwards, like your fingers will be facing up. If you notice, every time I do it, my hands are upwards. I've seen some people break with their wrist, kind of like a little bit lower down. I guess that would be fine too. Whatever really makes you feel comfortable getting this motion down. But it really is just pushing to each side. And like I said, you'll feel it come across this chest plane right here. Every time you do a break, when the hoop comes around, you'll feel it go across your chest, and so that's an indication that you're doing it correctly. You can see here the hoop goes across my chest and comes back, just like that. So the motion of a break is really, really simple. It's pretty simple to explain. There's not much else I can say verbally about how to push the hoop, basically just from right to left, left to right, back and forth. And it's really just kind of getting that muscle memory down. Just each time it comes around, just knowing to put your hand on the outside and stopping it. So that's it. Alright. Hope that was helpful for you guys. This is only my second tutorial, so I'm gradually learning how to explain things verbally and kind of how to slow them down and show you the actual move. Like I said, if you're using a heavier hoop, you might work out your arms a little bit more. I'm going to grab the 3/4 Poly Pro and show you the same thing that I just did with the larger one. 3/4 Poly Pro is going to be a little bit heavier than the 5/8, so I recommend that if you're a beginner. And like I did with the dance hoop, it's just going to be a matter of taking your hand, pushing it, grabbing it with the next hand, and pushing it back the opposite way. It's literally just a game of pushing back and forth. So just pushing back and forth, right to left, left to right, just like that. Doing it a couple different angles in hopes that maybe it would help you guys. So it really is just pushing the hoop each time that you feel it come around. I gave a little extra rotation in there. Alright, so that's just the basic motion, just pushing with the hand each time that hoop meets the other side. Alright, so with the paddles, you can start implementing those with the breaks. What you're going to do with the paddle basically is each time that you go to break, you're also going to be putting your other arm on the inside of the hoop now. So not only are you going to be doing the break motion each time the hoop comes around, but now each time the hoop comes around, you'll be using that hand that would be down as a guide to paddle the hoop to make an extra rotation while you're doing the breaks. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like, and then I'll kind of verbally explain. So I'm going to start with my right hand again. We're going to be pushing to the left, but as soon as I get to the left and I'm about to make that break with my left hand, my arm is going to come on the inside of the hoop and cross my chest, and I will use this area to run along the inside of the hoop and push it around to give it that extra rotation. So do a couple breaks, and then I'll start implementing the paddles. So like that. Each time, like I said, that you push the hoop and you go to do that break, the paddle's going to come up with it, and you're going to use that part of your arm as the guide to make that other rotation. So I'm going to show you guys one more time, and then I'll explain. Okay, so we're doing the breaks. Now I'm going to implement the paddle starting on the left-hand side. It kind of makes a rhythm. It's kind of fun to do. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to grab the larger hoop. It's a little bit slower, so it might help you guys see it a little bit better. But like I said, turn the hoop, and as soon as the hoop goes to that side, you're going to reach your arm inside, and the arm is going to press up against the hoop to make that, it's kind of floppy, to make that other rotation. Just like that. Grab another hoop. I am going to now grab my 5/8 Poly Pro, because now that I've kind of got breaks and paddles, this is my preferred hoop. So there's really no other way to kind of explain it except just to put your arm in and try to push it. just like that. I have seen that some people learn this a little bit easier if they're doing it vertical first. If you get your brakes down and you can figure out how to brake vertically, gotta move my hair. If you can figure out how to do the vertical brakes, it might be easier for you to implement the paddles vertically first. I've seen some people get it easier that way. I've seen some people get it easier completely upright. But it's just going to be that arm guiding the hoop to do that extra rotation. Because when we do brakes, it's just stopping left, right, left, right, left, right. Well, now with the paddle, it's going to be around, left, right, around, left, right, around. Okay? So that's how the paddle works in correlation with the brake. Let's see, we'll do right, left. Some people implement one paddle every few breaks. So you could do something like this. Do a paddle, do your brakes. Do a paddle, do your brakes. I've seen some people continuously do paddles and brakes. So paddle, brake, paddle, brake, paddle, brake. So however you want to implement them first is going to be up to you. Whether you want to go and do nothing but paddle brakes, I'm kind of messed up. Whether you want to do that or whether you want to start slow, brake, 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 paddle, brake, 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 paddle, brake, brake. That's going to be totally up to you. Do whatever you feel comfortable. But that's pretty much the gist of it. Like I said, your arm, put it across your chest, and you're going to use it to guide that hoop. Same on the other side. Arm goes in and guides. You basically push your arm outward to kind of go with the hoop, and that's what gives it that extra rotation. Whew, a little winded. Alright, so for you guys that already know how to do brakes and paddles, but you're looking for some tips and tricks to clean them up, I kind of mentioned some in the actual tutorial aspect of the video. The bare skin thing is key. Really, whenever you start getting the brakes and paddles fast, if you really want to get that grip going, the bare skin is going to be the easiest thing to use to keep that grip. Even if you've got gaffer tape, sanding, the hoop wax works really well. I definitely just recommend some sort of grip, like I said, sanding, hoop wax, gaffer tape with the bare skin. Those two things are going to allow you to really keep the hoop in that plane and keep it where it needs to be instead of flopping all over the place like that. So if you're having difficulty keeping the hoop in that plane, even with what I said, the bare skin or some in correlation with some sort of grip, go back and pick up a heavier hoop like I suggested to the beginners. There's nothing really like the heavier hoop when doing brakes and paddles when you're trying to get it down real good, because that heavy hoop stays in the plane that you want it to be in. It doesn't have as much give as the 5/8. So for that reason, it's going to stay in the place that you want it to be a lot better as opposed to a lighter, more flexier hoop. Something else I can also recommend, the turning your body thing. That's really key. If I stand here straight and just try to do brakes and paddles, sometimes they get kind of floppy. They're not really doing it right now, so it's a bad example, but the turning your body with it is my favorite little thing to do whenever I'm really getting into my brakes. Back and forth, back and forth. Another tip that I could say is just be persistent with it. You might get some bruises, you might get sore, your arms might really start getting tired. Rest. You know, take a break, maybe in an hour, come back to it, or maybe even a few days. If you've got some bruises on your arms and stuff like that, wait a couple days before you resume. But yeah, those are going to be my tips and tricks and tutorial for brakes and paddles. I really, really hope that it was helpful. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Like I said, this is only my second tutorial video, so I'm slowly learning how to verbally explain everything and put the actual move in a form that you guys can understand and actually learn from. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and be on the lookout for more videos. Thanks, guys.